Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to our 24th lesson of our simplified Tajweed series, which is a series of Tajweed lessons introduced by Quran University uniquely designed Quran learning management system with the purpose of introducing Tajweed in a modern and easy approach. Through this series of lessons, you will be introduced to Tajweed rules using a unique, modern and innovative approach to teach Tajweed that utilizes the color codes of Mus'haf al-Tajweed as a common denominator that links those lessons to Tajweed rules. With such approach, we aim to make the understanding of Tajweed rules much easier and to practically help you to apply those rules while reading the Quran. But before we proceed with today's lesson, let's revise what we have learned in the previous introduction to med about the different types of vowel lengthening, different types of med. We've mentioned that there is a primary med, which is lengthened naturally for 2 units, and anything that is lengthened beyond 2 units is called secondary med. And we have mentioned that the primary med itself has similar meds that are associated with it. There is the exchange, substitute, and lesser connecting meds, 3 types of med in addition to the primary, while the secondary med is further classified under 2 categories based on what causes the lengthening beyond natural, where it can be caused either by a hamza or by a sukoon. Those that are due to hamzas are 3. They are the attached, separated, and greater connecting med. Those that are due to sukoon are basically the compulsory med, the incidental sukoon med, and the soft lean med. So we've learned that there are 9 types of med, and we learned also that some scholars would also add a 10th type, they call it the differentiation med, while other scholars consider this type as a subdivision of the compulsory med. So they are either 9 or 10 in total. And in the introduction of med, we also talked about the colors association for the different types of med, and we said that there are 4 colors given to the med among the 8 colors used in Tajweed color legend in Mus'haf al-Tajweed. And yet we mentioned that the primary med and its associated exchange and substitute are not given any of these unique colors. It's given only the black color, which is the natural color given for the normal script, because the vowels in these types of meds are expected to be naturally lengthened, not more than the natural 2 units of any vowel. One more type of med is also associated with the primary. It is the lesser connecting because it is extended for the same period of the primary, which is 2 units. So if you see a vowel written in black or brown, you should elongate it for only 2 units. Now, anything other than that, these 3 colors would be secondary med. So whatever is due to hamza is given the mandatory elongation of 4 to 5 units and given this red color. And the incidental sukoon and its cousin, the soft lean, are given the orange color, which is expected to be lengthened for an average of 4 units, ranging from 2 to 6. Now, the compulsory and differentiation are given the dark red, where it is compulsory to elongate those 2 types of meds for 6 units. Now, in this lesson, we're going to concentrate on the lesser connecting med, which is a type of the primary med, given the color brown in Mus'haf al-Tajweed and is elongated for 2 units. And we're going to correlate the lesser connecting to the greater connecting med, which is a type of the secondary meds, and is given the bright red color, for which it is to be elongated for 4 to 5 units. So this lesson is dedicated to learn the lesser connecting med and the greater connecting med. Through this lesson, we'll be comparing the 2 meds, the lesser connecting and the greater connecting med, from the perspective of the concept and definition, and the related Tajweed rules for each of them, and the symbol used for demonstrating both in Quran, and the colors given in Mus'haf al-Tajweed for each of the 2, the lesser connecting and the greater connecting. And we're going to take example on each, and we're going to apply Tajweed rules on each of those 2 meds, and we're going to practice what we have learned by attempting to extract cases from certain selected verses of the Quran. In our Quran learning management system, whether we're using the desktop version or the mobile version, in both cases, we use the Ottoman script of Medina Mus'haf with Tajweed color codes, which we call قواعد ألوان التجويد or Tajweed color legend, where every Tajweed rule is given a unique color code. So if we look at Tajweed color legend, قواعد ألوان التجويد, we'll find that there are 4 colors related to elongation, to med. Those 4 colors, we're going to study 2 of them today, and we're going to look at this Quran page, and we're going to look at the brown color, which indicates elongation for 2 units. And we're going to look at a small vowel like this one here, the waw, in between the ha al-damir, and not followed by a hamza. This brownish small waw is to be extended for 2 units, and this is basically the lesser connecting med. Now if we look with this bright red color for a similar vowel, we'll find this waw here followed by a hamza. This waw following ha al-damir, the ha at the end of لأذبحنه, and it is followed by a hamza of aw. The Tajweed rule for this waw is to be elongated for 4 units, indicating a greater connecting med. So if you want to summarize the colors used in Mus'haf al-Tajweed for lesser connecting and greater connecting med, in this example, وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ, the ya here is an example of lesser connecting med, and it is a natural med, and that's why it's given a bright brown color indicating an elongation for 2 units. While the bright red waw in this example, مَا لَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ, the waw here is an example of a greater connecting med because it's followed by a hamza. Thus it is a secondary med, and it's given the bright red indicating an elongation for 4 to 5 units. Let's explore connection med and define it. Let's look again in the examples with a bit of depth. In مَا لَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ, we find that there is a ha at the end of مَا لَهُ. This is a pronoun ha indicating a masculine third person. And let's concentrate on this ha. We find that there is a dhamma on top of it. And in the Uthmani script, this ha with dhamma is followed by a small waw, giving us a hint that this ha with dhamma should be pronounced as if there is a waw after it. We say مَا لَهُ, مَا لَهُ. There is a waw pronounced after the ha. And since there is a hamza after the waw, then we extend or elongate this waw for 4 units, and the waw is given the red color. Now if we take this example, وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ, if we look again, there is a ha similar to that. This ha is also a pronoun ha al-damir al-ghaib, and it is followed by a small vowel, a small ya, and if we concentrate on it, ha with a kasra followed by a ya, but this ya is in brown, not in red, and we pronounce this ha with kasra as if there is a ya after it. So instead of saying وَأُمِّهِ, we say وَأُمِّهِ وَأُمِّهِ. Notice this ya here has been extended or elongated for 2 units compared with the top waw following the ha on the مَا لَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ, which was extended for 4 units. The 4 units elongation versus the 2 units elongation in the lower example is what differentiates lesser from greater connecting med. And the reason here is that there is no hamza after the vowel. The vowel here is followed by a waw, while the vowel here in the greater connecting is followed by a hamza. So what's common between the 2 types of med is that in both of them there is a pronoun ha for the third person male, a masculine ha. So upon connecting this pronoun ha with the following word, it is turned into a med, a waw when ha has a dhamma, or a ya when the ha has a kasra. Waw مَا لَهُ when it follows a dhamma, or a ya وَأُمِّهِ when it follows a ha with a kasra. When would the connection be lesser and when would it be greater? Let's take the example again. We'll look at the ha here with the ya following it. Then the letter after it or the whole word after it is not starting with a hamza. The pronoun ha is followed by a word وَأَبِيهِ not starting with hamza. Then the case here is a case of lesser connecting med. And to the opposite of that, when the ha followed by the vowel is followed by a word with a hamza. The pronoun ha is followed by a word with starting with a hamza. أخلد. There's a hamza here. In that case, this is an example of greater connecting med. And because this is not starting with a hamza, the lesser connecting med is considered as a subsidiary or a type of original natural med, and accordingly given an elongation of the original med, which is for 2 units. While the greater connecting, because it is followed by a hamza, it is considered as a type of secondary med caused by the hamza, and thus given the rule of elongation for 4 units. So the tajweed rule for both. In case of lesser connecting med, as in ummihi wa abih, it is brown because it's associated with the original and is given the color brown and an elongation of 2 units of that of the original or natural med. While in the case of the greater connecting med, as in the example ma lahu akhlada, the ha here is followed by a hamza and it is a type of secondary med, and accordingly it's given the color bright red, which is indicating the elongation for 4 to 5 units. Now let's take more examples and start with examples of the lesser connecting med. ما له وما كسب. ما له وما كسب. There is a هاء الضمير followed by a letter not starting with or a word not starting with a hamza. ما له. In that case, we say ما له وما. 2 units indicating a lesser connecting med. Another example. وأمه وأبيه. أمه وأبيه. Ha followed by a word not is starting with a hamza. The waw is not starting with a hamza. This is the first letter immediately after the ha is not having a hamza. وأمه وأبيه. We pronounce the ha as if it is followed by a ya that is extended or elongated for 2 units. وأمه وأبيه, an example of lesser connecting med. Now we're going for examples of greater connecting med. وما يكذب به إلا كل معتد أثيم. And به إلا. The ha is followed by a hamza and we pronounce the ha as if there is a ya after it, and we extend it for 4 units because of the hamza, and we say يكذب به إلا, an example of greater connecting med. ما له أخلد. ما له, the ha is followed by hamza and we pronounce the ha as if there is a waw after it. ما له أخلد. Now we're going to practice extracting connecting med from these verses, and we're going to look for the 2 meds, either the brown or the bright red color, and we find here a small brown waw after a ha. لأعذبنه عذابا. A dhamma followed by a small waw in brown, no hamza following it, an example of lesser connecting and to be elongated for 2 units. لأعذبنه عذابا. And as we're looking for another example, we find a small waw following a ha followed by a hamza in أو لأذبحنه أو. أذبحنه أو. There is a ha followed by a waw which a bright red color because it's followed by a hamza, indicating that this is a greater connecting med and to be elongated for 4 units. So we say أذبحنه أو. One more example. تحط به وجئتك. The ha with a kasra followed by a ya, then a word without a hamza, so it's an example of lesser connecting, that's why it's in brown, and we extend it for 2 units saying به وجئتك. And before reaching the end, we're going to summarize this lesson on lesser connecting and greater connecting med in one slide. The connecting med happens when there is a pronounced ha of a third person male voweled with either a dhamma or a kasra and positioned between 2 vowel letters. The connecting med has 2 types. The lesser connecting med, which is a part or a type of natural med, and the greater connecting med, which is a type of the secondary med. The conditions and terms for the med to become lesser connecting is that the pronoun ha should not be followed by a hamza. The opposite holds true for defining the greater connecting med, where the pronoun ha الضمير الغائب, is followed by a hamza. The hukum, the tajweed rule for lesser connecting, is elongation for 2 units, while it is 4 units in the case of greater connecting, and thus is given the bright red color. The letters are waw and ya vowels, transcripted in small size, coming after a third person male ha الضمير الغائب, and this applies for both cases, the lesser connecting and the greater connecting. And the symbol used to indicate it is either a small ya or a small waw, light brown in color when it is a lesser connecting, and bright red in color when it is a greater connecting. And an example given for the lesser connecting is وأمه وأبيه, and an example given for the greater connecting is ما له أخلده. And with that we reach the end of this lesson on the lesser connecting med and the greater connecting med. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that بعونه وقدرته that the Quran Learning Management System, برنامج الجامع لحفظ كتاب الله, would help you, inshallah, to improve your tajweed and improve your tilawah and help you in improving your recitation and help you, if you want, in memorizing the Quran and to help you understand the Quran in the proper way. As we reach the end, we ask Al-Mawla Azza wa Jal أن يتقبل منا هذا العمل. We ask Allah Almighty to accept this work from us, and we ask you to make dua for those who participated in making this work come to life and reach you. Hoping you all the best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.